Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first North Point annual presidential debate. Over here we have Mr. Ludlow representing the Platinum Party and the elected representative of the Butterfly Party, Miss Drye. We're going to go ahead and get started with some quick 10-second welcoming statements from either party guest. We'll go to Mr. Ludlow first.
Hello, thank you everybody for being here. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out, taking part in the process that we have here. I'd like to thank Mr. Conti for moderating today, and my opponent, Ms. Drye, for willingly sacrificing herself like this. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, I'd like to thank my running mate, Mr. T.J. Weaver, for being just an outstanding individual and helping me out throughout this process.
Hi guys. I just want to say thanks for letting us do this. Thanks for Mr. Ludlow, accepting the challenge. Thanks to my campaign partner, Miss Gardner. And thanks to Mr. Conti for, moderating.
Mr. Ludlow, if you were president at the beginning of the pandemic, what, if anything, would you have done?
It's really easy to look back and say what we should or shouldn't have done or how things could or couldn't have been handled differently, but the reality of the situation is that in that given moment, you only have so much information to work with. You only have so much knowledge, and there's no way for us to have known what would have happened. Obviously, in any given scenario where there's a threat of a pandemic or there's any kind of a threat to the country, economic, social, biological or otherwise, as president I would take that seriously. I would make every effort to ensure the safety of our citizens, and I would do everything that I could to ensure that going forward we were able to work cooperatively with any and all entities and agencies in order to come to an agreeable solution, whether that be in the case of this pandemic a vaccine or simply the ability to shut down the country as necessary in order to ensure the safety and security of our businesses and our people throughout this time.
I would address my constituents as people and talk to them about the safeties of washing their hands, social distancing. Just try to get ahead of it. Yes, we can never be fully prepared for things, right? But talking to my people, my fellow Americans, my fellow North Point friends, and we would have worked it out together.
I agree that it's important to listen to the people, but as we all know, as a group, we don't always make the best decisions. And sometimes as president, you have to make the tough decisions. You have to do the things that people don't want to do, or say the things that people don't want to hear. As a result, I would go forward, I would listen to you, but I would move forward with the agencies that knew best.
We'll go for the next question now. This is directed towards Miss Drye, also from the 8th grade class. They would like to know what your plan for taxes are. Are you going to decrease them? Are you going to raise them? How would you respond?
I'm going to increase taxes. I know it's not what everybody wants to hear. It is what it is. Here's the deal. Being in debt to other countries is not ideal. We don't want other countries to own us. So I would increase our debt, or increase our taxes a little bit. Sorry. Hey, it happens. I would increase the taxes to help pay down all of our debt to other countries that other countries own.
I will direct the same question to you, Mr. Ludlow. What is your tax plan and how do you respond to Ms. Drye's?
My response to Ms. Drye is that I agree we should not be in debt to other countries. I think she's made some great points. And honestly, I don't have a plan to raise or lower taxes. Instead, I have a plan to differentiate how we spend our taxes. I think before we talk about raising them or lowering them, we need to look at how we spend our taxes. The Department of the Treasury reported last year $3.5 trillion with a T, trillion dollars in collected income taxes. However, we also reported $7.32 billion in defense spending, as per the Peter G. Peterson Foundation. That's more than the next 10 countries combined, the majority of which are our allies. So we're spending money defending ourselves from the people who work with us. which doesn't make any sense. I think it's better that we reallocate the funds that we have to programs that can better assist people and can do more. That doesn't mean defunding the military or taking money away, but rather, if an organization doesn't spend all their money, instead of forcing them to spend it just so that they get more money next year, we put that money aside and use it for other programs. I think it's more important that we fix the way we spend tax money, not that we increase or decrease the amount that we currently take.
I will allow 30 seconds for a response.
Thanks. This is why Mr. Ludlow is going to make a fantastic Secretary of Treasury.
Our next question is from the 7th grade class, and this is directed first to Mr. Ludlow. They would like to know, are Skittles better than M&Ms? Your thoughts?
Skittles and M&Ms are both candy. They're both filled with sugar, and they are both delicious. The question of which one is better doesn't really come into play here, right? It's a subjective question. Each person is going to prefer their own thing. One person may prefer Skittles, one person may prefer M&Ms. Personally, I think that they're both good, and depending on the mood, I want either or. That's why I believe in bipartisanship and working together with the opposition, not against them. Because I would like to have Skittles and M&Ms, just not at the same time. That would be weird.
Candidate Drye, I will ask you the same question. Are Skittles better than M&Ms? You have 30 seconds to answer the question.
I have a preference for Skittles, but will accept M&Ms as well. So bipartisanship is also something that I agree with. Thank you, Mr. Ludlow.
Moving on to the next question. This comes to us also from the 7th grade class. They would like to know, this is directed towards Ms. Drye first, should all school lunches across the country be free?
Okay, so as we know, childhood hunger is a serious issue in this country, right? I read today a study about 28.7% of Arizona students go home unsure of where their next meal is going to come from. Making lunches free to students is a great idea. But at the same time, I have to ask you, if I offer you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and your friends are eating pizza or candy, are you okay with that? Because if you are, then that's great. But at the same time, we have to watch what we're spending our money on. I've had students tell me, I don't have enough food today, but I saw you eat 2 candy bars at lunch, and that's $3 right there. So if it's free, we need to make sure what we're giving you is something that's going to sustain you and not just make you crash during 6th and 7th hour.
Candidate Ludlow, your response.
Everyone likes free stuff. I think we can agree on that, yeah? Free lunch would be great. I support free lunches. But I support free lunches that are produced and designed by the government. I want us to give you free lunches that are healthy. We're going to get some salads. We're going to get you some nice boneless, skinless chicken breast. We're going to get you that food that's going to keep you going, and it's going to be healthy, but we're not going to give you candy. We're not going to give you sweets. We're not going to give you soda. You get some water. You get some lettuce. There's your free lunch. Everyone gets a free lunch. Whether or not you choose to eat it is up to you, but you get some lettuce, you get some water, you get to have something in your belly, and then you get to go home and do what you do there.
We'll allow Candidate Drye 30 seconds to respond.
How are we paying for this, Mr. Ludlow? And is there an option to buy something other than what you're talking about?
I don't think offering free lunch precludes the ability to purchase additional things if you want them. How we're going to pay for this very expensive plan is, as I spoke about beforehand, we're going to reappropriate taxes to things that matter. We're going to take those taxes that we're spending unnecessarily on things like $350 staplers for the military, true story, $350 staplers for the military, and instead we're going to buy lettuce for all the schools, water for all the tap water, because that's cheaper, it's freer, you get tap water. Tap water is good for you.
All right, and with that, we will move on to our next question, who comes from Christina in 7th grade. Christina would like to know, and this is going to go to Miss Drye first. Oh, sorry, Mr. Ludlow first. I apologize. Mr. Ludlow, Christina in 7th grade would like to know, do you think college should be free? Why or why not?
I support higher education. Do I support a free higher education? That's a very tough question. I do think that it's important that everyone has the opportunity to go to school. I do think that it's important that we encourage individuals to go to school. But do we just give them college? Do we give it to them for free? The question becomes, who pays for this? College professors have to make money, right? Schools have to have endowments, there's programs and things. I think that it's important that we have school. How we pay for it, I don't think it's too much to ask you that if you want to advance yourself, you invest in yourself a little bit. You should be putting forth just as much as we are as a government. So should we have better education systems? Definitely. Should more people go to higher education? Definitely. Should it be completely free? I'm going to have to say no on that one. We're going to have to charge you guys a little bit, especially with the things that encompass education, things like books, things like housing, food, electricity. None of that stuff comes free. I mean, if you look at someplace like Harvard, their endowment is billions of dollars. There's no way the government's going to be able to match that to let everybody in. So private institutions will still charge. Public institutions will still charge. I'm all for offsetting the cost, but it can't be free. It's just not feasible in our economy.
Candidate Drye, your response?
I would agree with you that it shouldn't completely be free. And one way that we can work this out is by talking about the monopoly of the textbook sales. There's no reason that I can't use government funding or that the government can't help me out with my textbooks while I'm paying sometimes outrageous fees for tuition for books that are mandatory, that aren't actually covered within my tuition. When I pay for my class, I then have to buy separate textbooks. And some of my textbooks can be upwards of $320. I've paid that. So we need to have solutions that are going to lower the cost, but it can't be free, like Mr. Ludlow said, 100% can't be free. I mean, unless I'm raising taxes even more, which I don't think that would be fun.
Actually, there is a way to have free education. I agree with Ms. Drye on everything that she said so far. I think that she had some great points. But I believe if you work for the military or for the government should pay for your education. You want to go to college, but you also want to become a city planner, the government, once you get your degree, so you pay for it up front, the government will reimburse you for that money, and then it's like you didn't pay for college. You just have to pay up front. And then we'll pay you back once you come and work for the government.
All right. In the interest of time, we will move to our final question of the debate. This is going for both candidates. This will serve as your closing statements. I will allow Ms. Drye to go first, and then Mr. Ludlow will answer and close out the debate. So, Ms. Drye, 7th grade, and Jose would like to know, how do you feel that this debate and this campaign has gone for you?
Overall, I think it was pretty fun. Had a great time talking about some issues with my students during class time. Also, a little disappointed to hear that some candidates went negative today. We at the butterfly party take the high road. But overall, I think that it was a great experience, and I'm excited that the kids remember what I told you guys today. It's all about you guys getting this experience. So make sure that you vote tomorrow.
I think that today's debate was good. It was a nice example of fluidity in the world of politics and how we can come together and produce something that is outgoing, is nice, is positive, and gives you guys something to look forward to. We look forward to seeing how you vote, and I look forward to knowing what you guys think. Overall, I think my debate and my campaign has been well. And while certain things may have had to have taken a negative turn, sometimes in our life we have to embrace the negativity to see the joy on the other side. You don't get to have the sunny days if you don't have the rain clouds first.
And that concludes our first presidential debate here at North Point. I'd like to thank both candidates for joining me up on stage. Let's give them a round of applause. We'll do a thank you. Socially distant handshake between the two candidates. Thank you for joining us again. Make sure you vote tomorrow. This experience is all about you guys experiencing politics and the power of voting for the president. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your lunch period.